consistency.
And so, like, I think we're probably going to go into this deeper next week, inshallah. But this is a general analogy. We've got the cosmic womb, or Vesica Pisces. Eventually you get what they call it the egg of life.
Yes.
So that makes sense, because now you've got cells increasing or duplicating. And then from there you've got the from the egg of life, I think there you got the seed of life. Seed of life, and the flower of life, and then the fruit of life. It's the fruit of life, which is dimensional. So the fruit of life is, if you look it up, it's embedded into the flower of life. And the flower of life, this is where the 19 circles come around, which, I mean, Surah Maryam is the 19th surah. Yeah. And then if you remove the background circles, you get the flower of life. But what's interesting there is that it's 13 circles. Now, if you connect them, you get like what some people would call a Star of David, or the two triangles overlapping, if you had to just connect them like that. Now, what I find interesting about that, excluding the middle circle, you've got the concept of 12 circles, 12 months, 12 sub-seasons.
Yes.
And then what they also found is that with the 19 circles, from the seed of life, you get 61 altogether. So you get the 1, but excluding the middle circle, you get the number 60, which relates to seconds, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and so on and so forth. So it's related to time, seasons, because seasons is solar. It's a solar calendar.
Yeah. Also how the world, the universe, is mathematically constituted. That's why the importance of us as Muslims to study maths as a science.
Yeah. Because the creation is basically impacted by space, time and matter. But then there's something beyond creation that is not impacted by space, time and matter. And the womb is impacted by space, time and matter. The fruit is impacted by space, time and matter. Yeah. And so it's also interesting, the numerological side. See, I tend to not go into numerology. I'm a bit wary of it.
You're not
wary. I'm just a bit wary of numerology, because I think I came from like an astrological background, so I'm very careful of things like that. But you can't help but notice certain numbers. Like, for example, okay, so the number 4.
Yes.
Right. So if you get the 1 plus 3, the 13 circles, 1 plus 3 equals 4. What's the 4th surah?
Yeah, surah, and the woman.
The woman, right. And how many of the best women are there? 4.
Yeah.
And what's the maximum amount of wives a Muslim man is allowed to have? 4. And then how many seasons are there?
4 seasons.
There's 4 seasons. How many directions are there?
Yeah, 4 directions.
4 directions. How many phases of the moon does the moon go through? 4. How many elements are there? 4. Now, the Samawat, like, there was a Muslim scholar who proved that the heavens are comprised of all the 4 elements. What is the gender? Now, in the Quran, when the Quran refers to the Samawat as a gender, what is the gender ascribed to the Samawat? The heavens. It's the feminine.
Yeah.
She.
Yeah.
The oceans are referred to as a she. The sun is referred to as a she. The earth is referred to as a she.
Yeah.
So a lot of these elements and aspects in nature that are impacted by space, time and matter are often referred to in the feminine.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And there's this theme of the 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, this cube, the structure that keeps coming up. So, you can't help but notice and appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even the Kaaba as well.
Yeah, I immediately think in the Kaaba, if you kind of angle it.
Yeah.
So now if you take the fruit of life, yes, it is the fruit of life. So it's like you've got your 13, so you've got your 1 in the middle, and then you've got your 12 going on either side. So you've got like 3 on the top and 3 at the bottom. If you connect them, you can get like that 2 triangles. Some people say Star of David. I don't know what other term to use for that. But now, even within that, what do they call it now? I'm going to have to pause this. Okay, so we're back. So now, if you can see, there's the flower of life. Sorry, the fruit of life. I kept saying, I hope I'm not saying the flower of life this whole time. I hope I've been saying the fruit of life.
You did speak about the stages.
Okay, so the fruit of life that we're talking about, which is the 3 circles. So if you connect it, then you get the triangles. Now from that, apparently from all the circles, if you connect them all, you get about 37 lines. I think I remember correctly. You get Metatron's cube, right?
Okay.
Now from Metatron's cube, and then also if you look at this one here, I don't even know how to pronounce it, 64 tetrahedron, and then further down the vector equilibrium. Can you see the cover there?
Yes.
In the vector equilibrium. So the cube, you can actually get that shape within all of these other shapes. So everything
as a symbol
in nature,
of Tawheed, yeah. As a symbol of, yeah.
So the thing is, in nature, these shapes are absolutely everywhere. So what happened was in the old days, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, all the great artists, they would use geometry to do someone's face. They wouldn't just like sit there and draw their face.
Yeah.
They would actually use geometry. So there's a documentary called Tim's Veneer, and one of the guys from Penn and Teller was involved in this documentary. The guy's not an artist. He basically used science to replicate Tim's Veneer. He used science to replicate a veneer painting. Okay, strictly, you just use science. So if you look at Leonardo da Vinci, you look at Michelangelo, you look at all the great artists, they all use science, they all use engineering, they all use maths. So one of the guys from Penn and Teller, who's an atheist, he asked the question, now why do they not teach this in schools? Why do they not combine art, science and maths in schools? And in my mind I'm thinking so that intelligent people like you can be atheist.
Absolutely. Also to disconnect us with...
To disconnect you
from the Creator.
From the Creator. To disconnect you from the study of creation. And how creation is connected. And all these subjects prove to you the consistency of the Creator and how the Creator created. Because there's no denying after that. I mean, I remember I saw this thing on YouTube. This guy was talking about snowflakes and how they accidentally, or some are by themselves, they just, there's geometry in that.
Inside,
If you like... And as somebody who's done design, I'm just like, but how do you think that happens by mistake? If you do design, that can't happen by mistake.
It cannot.
It cannot. Didn't you do pattern cutting for clothes?
Yes.
There's a lot of geometry in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, does that happen by mistake? Does that happen by accident?
No.
I try to do pattern cutting. It's it's hard.
It is hard.
I mean, it just...
But once you get the, how can I say, the math.
The math.
Yeah, and then you could, but everything is like sort of so much in order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In
order.
Place. Yeah.
Organized.
There's an organized,
That's why somebody called, they use the term great organizer designer. If you look at your bin, for example, I mean, just look at your bin. And you throw your things in the bin. And then what happens? Does perfume come out of your bin? Do you get beautiful like shapes and patterns? And that doesn't happen from your bin. That doesn't happen from a garbage heap. When we're heedless and we're careless and we throw things out, there's just stinky, bad chaos. And for us, if we want to have like a lovely home, we have to clean it, we have to organize it, we have to, in terms of style, we have to match colors, match shapes and patterns and what have you. So now getting back to Maryam alayhi salam and fruits out of season, what is so incredibly significant about this situation is that clearly that is coming from the Creator, from someone or something that is not impacted by time, space and matter.
Absolutely.
And of course then we can appreciate the inspiration of Zakaria alayhi salam and his dua, because his wife is out of season.
Yes. And I'm thinking of even of Hannah. She was also already a woman like in her age, postmenopausal, past her childbearing years, was also out of season. But yet also what for me is so amazing, Alila, is because if we make dua, if we speak to Allah, nobody knows. It's between me and your Creator, but yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala records, or have recorded the dua of a yearning of a woman, because she was in the know of her social conditions, or the conditions within her society, and then she made this dua and she said, oh Allah, whatever, if Allah should grant me a child, I will offer this child as a service to humanity, because that's all that she had to offer.
Yeah.
And Allah Ta'ala made that dua known to us through the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who have brought who Allah Ta'ala sent revelation via him.
Yeah.
So that for me it is so amazing for Allah to have made known to us that particular dua, those innermost yearnings of women, and make that public for us to be as a guide, I would say, and also as a way, and also as a comfort, right? So when you find women today also in this struggle and all of that, and I feel through struggle, women tend to, I think more than men, they tend to I think they have a more closer relationship, if I can say that.
I think we have more potential
to
go inward, but what Shaitan tries to distract us from going inward, and he wants us to go outward, which is superficial. And it was also interesting about that, because I wanted to actually focus a whole discussion on celebrity, child stars, and how they were groomed, versus the way Maryam alayhi salam was cocooned and protected, and how she grew and how so much came from her, because what happens a lot, and I will just briefly touch about this, but I would love to talk more in depth, inshallah. But what they generally do is, and this is quite a consistent theme, is there are people out there that abuse children, whether it's Satanists in a cult, or other types of cults. They abuse children, and then they actually groom the children. The women come out, as they become women, they start exposing themselves more. So it's they call it sex positive. So it's empowerment. I'm going to be naked in my ball gown and be all hot and amazing, because I want to be in control of how I trigger men or whatever. So it creates, on the one hand, the female is exposing herself, she's becoming very public. Part of the psychology is because she feels safer being seen. Because when she was violated alone in the dark or somewhere where she's not seen, she feels more safe being seen. So she's looking for attention, because if all eyes are on her, nothing can happen to her while all eyes are on her. So that is part of the psychology. And another part of the psychology is that she feels that she's taking control by being the sex bomb and, driving the situation, but she's not realizing that she's actually being manipulated to do that, and it's actually part of the grooming process.
Absolutely.
And it's actually not at all empowering. That, in fact, if you can cover yourself and if you can be unseen and just connect to how you feel and what you sense, you as an energy connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is where the power is. It's inward, it's not outward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Coming again to, I would say, Allah won't change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. But when I looked at that particular verse, there's an ayah that precedes that, where Allah speaks about malaika. And Allah Ta'ala speaks of the malaika that Allah Ta'ala sends to help us. So even if I want to change my condition as a woman, or as a whatever change my condition, Allah Ta'ala will, and I make that intention to change, but Allah Ta'ala sends His helpers, right? Allah Ta'ala speaks about the malaika that we know of and that we don't know of. That actually precedes that particular statement in the Quran. So again, if we change that, we make the niyyah and we change that, what is within ourselves, we are not alone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Shaitan makes you feel like you're alone, but in reality you're not alone.
But you're not alone.
You're not alone, and you have to get past that pain threshold to connect to. And the thing is, it's kind of like driving a car, with when you're doing the petrol and the accelerator thing. So it's like you have to connect, you have to get past the pain to connect with that, but then you also have to connect with that to increase your mind to feel strong and have strength to have the sabr to get through the pain as well. So it's like very much going together, the connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting past the pain to do that, but then at the same time using that connection to get past the pain. So like that's how the cycle goes. That's how the strength and the strengthening of the soul and the growth comes from that, inshallah.
It comes through pain as well.
Yeah.
Because if you don't feel that pain, you
have
don't feel the discomfort.
You got to feel it to heal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel the discomfort, it will actually, that's almost like I would say the energy, or the force for us to look, to be, to cut that one.
You know, it's kind of like when you put a seed in the ground. Now we're coming back to the seed and growth and be kun fayakun. So it's like when you put the seed in the ground, that little seed needs a little bit of energy. Like Maryam Katab says, like, the seed needs a little bit of energy just to kind of break through the soil, to like reach for the light and branch out.
But also a concept of niya. Actually, if you look at the Arabic term niya, also means seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So it means intention and it means seed. Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Wow.
Yeah.
Should we end on that note?
Inshallah.
Inshallah, we'll talk more, related subjects to this subject, inshallah. Okay.
Okay, I think I will. You want to close that now?
Yeah. We're gonna greet.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.